They said they are out. They said Micromax is no longer in the phone game. This is the only company I know whose phones used to sell in black in the open market. And one day they just disappeared. Just could not keep up with the competition and everybody wrote them off. But they're not out of the game. In fact, they're back with a bang. This is the N11 and the N12, two new phones from Micromax. Let's take a look. The Infinity series that they've come out with. Let's take a look at what the phones are all about. Can Micromax with these two phones and a huge portfolio that they're promising actually make a comeback? Can they really be a big player in the market once again? They do have a lot of loyalty for the brand, but are those loyalist customers still out there? Well, we'll do the review first and then, like I said, a brutal interview with the CEO.
Micromax is back in the Indian market with two budget rockers, and we hear that this time around, the company has learned from its mistake and is ready to regain its throne as the #1 smartphone brand. We now get the Infinity N11 and the Infinity N12, two phones part of the brand's first notch series. So here is our quick review. The Infinity N12 and the Infinity N11 come with an attractive design and a display notch. We'll focus on the N12, the pricier of the two, in this review. It is pretty comfortable to hold in one hand. There is plastic at the back with a glossy finish, which does give it a more elegant look, though this will attract more smudges. Fat battery on a Micromax was the norm, and the Infinity phones carry on the legacy with a 4000 mAh battery in both the N11 and the N12. The company claims that you can get a talk time of 30 hours on a single charge. The phones come loaded with a 2 GHz octa-core MediaTek Helio P22 processor, and we found no lag while multitasking or browsing. Gaming performance was average. While the N11 comes with 2 GB RAM and 32 GB storage, the N12 comes with 3 GB RAM and 32 GB storage. The two phones come with Android Oreo 8.1 out of the box, and the company says an Android 9 Pie update is coming soon. Both phones come with a 13 megapixel plus 5 megapixel dual rear camera setup. But both the phones are aimed at the selfie-obsessed population, and while the N12 comes with a 16 megapixel selfie shooter, the N11 comes with an 8 megapixel selfie camera. The Infinity N12 can be yours for Rs 9,999, while the N11 can be yours for 8,999 rupees. Both phones will be available from December 26. The Cell Guru verdict. Christmas has come early for those on the lookout for budget phones with so many options in the market. And Micromax is all set to put up a good fight with its new Notch series. A great battery, a great display and an aggressive price are all the ingredients for a great comeback story.
I just showed you the two phones that Micromax has now announced and released, two very strong offerings in the market. Now it's time to find out all the questions that have been in your mind for the last many months, in my mind for the last many months, and I have the very man here who can answer them all. First and foremost, you were the only brand I know whose phones were sold in the black market. There was a premium to your phones. And then it all just disappeared. What happened?
Okay, so very rightly said, from being #1 brand, what went wrong? So you'll also appreciate that was a time when India was largely on a 3G footprint, and then we had a tsunami of data called Reliance Jio. So the market did not move on an organic basis from 3G to 4G, which any of the industry stalwarts or industry companies would be thinking about, and it actually inorganically moved overnight from 3G to 4G. Most of the inventory that Micromax had was 3G. Now when the market changed overnight to 4G, customers had a preference of using a 4G handsets. Obviously during that time the channel also had an inventory. We could not overstep them and just launch up the 4G handsets. So there was that period which actually provided a lot of other brands opportunities.
But a lot of people would then argue that you should have seen the tsunami coming. You're the #1 brand. A brand that is #1 should be nimble enough to be able to change to market conditions and also predict the future.
Very rightly said. I mean, I would not shirk the blame. We will take the blame as a brand. But having said that, the intensity with which this change was driven, I can only promise you none of the CFO of the incumbent operators had also thought about it. Okay. And everybody was caught off guard.
The Indian market is very perception based. So what does Micromax now bring to the table where, let's say, everybody that's watching this show right now says, okay, I loved Micromax, somewhere they went away, I didn't have anything I could buy from them. They're back. They've got a great product. But with the way the Indian brands are right now, with some of them shutting down, some of them shutting factories, some not paying salaries, do you believe perception could be your greatest problem here? You have a great two phones. You have a great brand. Where do you think your problems could lie?
I do not deny there's a lot of issue on the perception and how we deal with it. But having said that, being existent long enough in the industry and also at the same time launching products right now, my customers would vouch Micromax as a brand has never been behind. We might be late, we might want to be late to be more relevant to the consumer, but here we are, and from here on you can see a huge amount of innovations coming in.
Okay, great. So we really look forward to this. I have to say, personally speaking, I'm thrilled you're back. We need Indian brands. I don't care whether I'm being nationalistic or not. We need Indian brands, and we need some aggression to come in the innovation market, and I hope Micromax leads that once more. Thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.